Welcome back, everybody, to Vitamin Guy, where we talk about anything to do with supplements, the nutraceutical industry, innovation, products, always from a consumer standpoint. Hopefully this is informative for you. If it is, please hit the like button and follow us, and we'll get out content as fast and furiously as we can. As you may have noticed from this video, we're starting to go sideways. Apparently that's the way to do videos nowadays, and it looks a little better, so hopefully that's a good thing. I'm Nick, and today I want to talk a little bit about something that's relatively new in terms of supplementation, and it really coincides with something that has just exploded, and that, of course, is GLP-1. The product I want to talk about is Akkermansia, and I'll talk a little bit. I actually did a little experiment and have taken some Akkermansia, and I'll let you know towards the end of this video how that went. But Akkermansia is an up-and-comer. It is tied to GLP-1, and I'm going to do another video on just GLP-1 because it's kind of all over the place in terms of how you want to look at it and what supplement companies are trying to figure out. And some research I've done over the last year and a half is what lane are we in here when it comes to natural products? Are you there for the consumer to help with the side effects of GLP-1 agonists, those Ozempic type products that people are taking, the big one of course being nausea, but there are other side effects as well. And so, are natural products there to help that part of it, or are natural products there as a substitute? Maybe there's a natural products you can take that have similar effects to GLP-1. We'll talk a little bit about that today with Akkermansia. Or is the nutraceutical industry there for both? And I can tell you, it's that 8 to 12% of the population that's either taking these sort of GLP-1 medications or have taken them in the recent past, and 30 to 35% of the adult population, people over 19 years old, are interested in potentially taking. So huge market. It's changed a lot of things. And again, we'll do something on GLP-1 specifically, but eating and the food industry as well. So there's a lot to cover on that topic. In terms of Akkermansia is a probiotic. And I'm a big fan of probiotics. I've been taking probiotics for about 20 years, and personally, I can tell that there is an impact if I'm traveling. Sometimes I don't take my supplements, and I can tell you there is a difference. So I'm a big fan of probiotics to begin with. Akkermansia is a probiotic that the one thing that it does is to help with your gut lining, the protection. And there's, all sorts of things like leaky gut that can happen if your gut lining is eroded. Akkermansia is a probiotic that your body naturally has in it, but as you age, if you're taking medication or whatever, you're producing less of the Akkermansia. When I first started studying this, one of the things that was interesting to me is it's like a marker for general health and gut health, is how much Akkermansia you have or don't have in your gut. So that indicates to me that is a very powerful probiotic in your system, just on a general level. The tie-in to GLP-1 is that Akkermansia will help your body produce more GLP-1. GLP-1 then triggers all the things that help you lose weight, like your gut digestive emptying, and the signals that your digestive system gives to your pancreas to produce insulin, and to your brain that you're full or not full. Those are the sort of things that GLP-1 does. Akkermansia will help your body produce more GLP-1 and secrete more GLP-1. One thing to remember with naturally produced GLP-1 has a very short half-life, like 1 to 2 minutes. The GLP-1 you get from like an Ozempic shot, that can last up to a week, which is why, they're weekly injections. So there is something there. And I do feel like, again, as always, these are just our opinions here in terms of the supplements, but I do feel you would be very careful about expecting the same results from a natural product as you would from a pharmaceutical, and in this case, the GLP-1s, the Mounjaro, the Ozempic, those sort of things. I'd be very careful to think, hey, I could take this and have exactly the same results. They don't work exactly the same in the body, and obviously there are limitations, I feel, for supplementation. Now, for this particular product as a probiotic, I feel like it's a good product or a good probiotic to take anyway, especially if you're older individual, again, with the support of the gut lining and some of the other things that Akkermansia helps with. The fact that you lose it as you age, you don't produce as much as you age, makes sense to me as a probiotic, to add that to your list of digestive products that you may take. And of course, a lot of these products, if you look at probiotics, and I personally like to take a multi-strain probiotic to give you a wider range of those gut biotics that are in your system, and to help, kind of give you more of a balanced approach to gut health. So, maybe they eat Akkermansia with other probiotics, and there actually are a couple other probiotics that supposedly help the body, again, produce more GLP-1, secrete more GLP-1. So with that, in terms of weight loss, which is specifically why people, there's some people that are taking these GLP-1 medications just for weight loss, even though there's more and more indications that these GLP-1 prescription medications have a lot of other beneficial effects. There's a lot of side effects as well, but there's a lot of beneficial effects of heart health. Obviously, blood sugar, which is originally, Ozempic is for blood sugar management. So there's cognitive studies. There have been a lot of studies being done. There's actually more. There's a pill form now that they're working on. So there's a lot of studies on more medications that will come out as well. In terms of Akkermansia and weight loss, I did take this, and I actually took this exact one. I took the Code Age Akkermansia 500, and it was I think I had about a 90-day stint on it, and I did lose some weight. I could tell a little bit that some of my hunger cues were a little different. I don't feel that I lost nearly as much weight as if I would have been on a GLP-1 medication, but maybe 2.5% of my body weight. And the nice thing was, I lost the weight. I did it kind of as an experiment just to see if it actually worked. I lost the weight, and I've never really been into weight loss medications. I think I've been around since the days when Dr. Oz was talking about raspberry ketones and Garcinia cambogia and these sort of things. Do they help you really lose weight? Maybe, but what are the other effects? Obviously you got to pay for them. I got to continue them. So I've never been a real big proponent of weight loss when it comes to supplementation. And sometimes it's good for other things too. So I'm not saying any of those products are bad, you shouldn't take them or anything like that. I just think from a weight loss perspective, there's a lot better ways to go about it. And, obviously diet and exercise and those sort of things. There's no magic pill, I guess is what I'm saying. The Akkermansia did help me lose some weight. When I went off it, I really haven't gained back to the point I was when I went on it. Now, I'm not attributing any of that necessarily. Obviously, I went off the Akkermansia. It helped me get down to a point, and then I never got back up to where I was when I started it. So take that for what it is worth. Like I said, as I was taking it for those 90 days, I feel it does give you a little bit of a kick in terms of the weight loss part of it. So sometimes that's all it's necessary, right? In terms of recommendations, there is 2 brands that as I work through some of the recommendations and things that I've looked at and actually worked with that I think are legitimate. If you go on Amazon, there's close to 300 if you type in Akkermansia. Most of them I think are going to pop up. Akkermansia is my understanding is very difficult as raw material. Probiotics can be difficult anyway to work with because you start heating them up or adding things to them or, exposing them to air. They really are it's kind of tricky, and a lot of times even regular probiotics, packaging is a big thing. There's certain packages that can help wick moisture so it doesn't get onto the pills. There's the different types of like bubble wrap that can kind of help with that. But overall, what a lot of companies do is they put an overage basically. So if you've got a 10 billion CFU probiotic, there might be 12 billion CFUs in there, so that it's a percentage, but by the time you get to the end of that pill life cycle, which generally is maybe 2 years actually for probiotics. A lot of vitamins are 3 years, but probiotics are 1 to 2 years. When you get to the end of that, you still have that 10 billion. If you go with legitimate supplement companies that have been around, and there's some that do a really great job at probiotics, I don't worry too much about that part of it. It's just they are kind of hard to work with, and Akkermansia is apparently especially hard to work with. So some of these companies, I'd be very careful, just because, not that you're necessarily going to have like problems, but you may not be getting what you think you're getting. And the other thing to think about, and I don't know, as a consumer, it probably doesn't make any difference. You can't do anything about it. There's different ways to calculate how many active, because probiotics are live organisms, so how many live organisms you have. The gold standard really is CFU, colony forming units. 99% of the probiotics that you get are going to be 1 billion, 2 billion, 10 billion CFU. And this is the first time I've seen this, by the way. I'm not saying it wasn't out there, but when Akkermansia came about, they do AFUs, which is active fluorescent units, and then TFUs, which is total TCU, sorry, not TFU, TCU, total colony units, and AFU, active fluorescent units. And these are different ways, and I don't think from the research that I've done that they're as accurate. What does that mean to you? I don't know. If you take something and it works, the one I took was, I think, 500 million AFUs, the code age. I would be more inclined to the brands, and the 2 brands, sorry, I got off track there, but the 2 brands that I know of and think, again, from my experience, seem like they know what they're doing and are doing great work with this particular product are Code Age and Pendulum. Both are available on Amazon. There was another brand, Vitamatic, that seemed to be pretty legitimate. I never researched them, never did any work with them, so I can't say for sure, but they're on there, Amazon, as well as a top selling. So I would look, I think 500 million seems to be a pretty middle of the road potency, if you will. I would definitely, AFUs is, I think, definitely better than TCUs. And if you can, find those, it's still not as good as colony forming units. There is one raw material supplier, Vidi Herbs, who has done some research. They have a product. It may or may not be in any branded products, right? They're really a raw material supplier, but they have found a way to ferment and then get the CFU. And I think their study was done on 5 billion CFU. But I don't think it really had to do with weight loss. It had other positive impacts from the Akkermansia. But if you want to give it a shot, like I said, Code Age, Pendulum, maybe that Vitamatic, 500 million, it's or better AFUs if you can find them. It is marginally expensive. Again, I would not anticipate or expect that you're going to get the same results as if you use a pharmaceutical product. But the beauty is you can try it out. Even if you don't lose the weight, Akkermansia is a great probiotic. It's really good for your gut microbiome anyway. So no harm, no foul there. And I think that's about it. Like I said, we want to do a video on GLP-1. There's a lot to uncover there. So hopefully we'll have that for you soon. And with that, Vitamin Gal, have a safe and healthy day.